This is the four-part harmony or four-course meal table of contents, the program that we've created in terms of how Video Mojo Live goes. So I do a tee it up, which is my opening commentary, and I'm going to do something very meta today about this whole crazy, fun, really kind of amazing video webcasting environment and what we're doing and how I see that within the evolution of new media. Then within the collaborative conversation today, we're going to be talking with the really brilliant Julia McNeal, an actress, teacher, coach, who works with all kinds of professionals to be more authentic, and authenticity is a big part of having a more engaging social media presence and a more vibrant video presence. And so I'm really looking forward to talking to her. She has some very practical, experiential type of information that you can use to be more authentic and more engaging online. And then we open it up to Community Campfire. We've got both the chat from YouTube and the chat from Facebook Live available. You can ask questions. We want you to ask questions, comments, whatever, and I can bring those right up on the screen. So that's our Community Campfire Q&A feedback session. And then I always close the show with some luscious links, some movie review, book review, software, and today I'll be talking about how to get some really beautiful, free, license-free stock images for your social media, for your website, whatever. So that's the show today, and let's get into the tee it up. So my tee it up today is going to include a presentation that I'm calling The Media Evolution Through the Ages. So I've been doing new media and kind of on the bleeding edge, if you will, of new media for a long time. Every company is now a publisher. Every company is now a content creator. And so what's happening with this kind of webcasting is, for me at least, given the stuff that I used to do going all the way back to the 70s, it's an extension of that, and I think it's important to put it in context, so that's why I'm going meta. So way back in the ancient history of the 80s, when I started USA, there was only broadcasting. So there was 4 TV networks only. It's kind of hard to imagine in today's world. And when I started at USA Network, that was in the early 80s when MTV, ESPN, the Golf Channel, the Tennis Channel, and we had narrowcasting TV channels for specific audiences. Even Lifetime was the first channel ever for women. If you can imagine that, it's kind of crazy. So fast forward to almost today, and we have podcasting and YouTube channels. And a lot of people in the corporate storytelling world are doing podcasts, and podcasts are very hot, and podcasts are great. And the other publishing platform is YouTube channels. Well, I think where it's going and how it's evolving is into this kind of live webcasting like we're doing today. They're hybrid shows, they're webcasts, and they're podcasts. So I'm calling them web shows. And the web shows are both live, okay? So we're live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. And then they also are podcasts, and they're also YouTube posts. So not only does the YouTube live as a live show, but we edit it and polish it. And then we also strip out the audio. It's available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on the podcatcher app of your choice. So it's also a podcast. And then we're editing standalone segments. So this becomes a content-rich resource for us to repurpose, as they say. And so we've now got all of that, plus we can do socials and what I'm starting to call shorties, as we're going to be getting into TikTok and Instagram Reels. So these webcasting hybrid web shows are really the next frontier. And that's why I'm playing in this space, and it's happening. And I want to give you this perspective, not only to encourage you, but to say this is where it's going, and there are bullets to come beyond this. So if you want to be in it, play with it, have fun with it, experiment, and I hope that's useful. That's my tee it up opening commentary. So now, wow, this is such a rich, fun show. We get to have a collaborative conversation with my good friend Julia McNeal, who is an amazing actress. I've seen her at ACT and in performances around the Bay Area in the theater community. Also, she was on Law and Order, but more importantly, at the moment, she's become a teacher and coach to all kinds of presentation people and writers. She's developed this new methodology. I think she might have a different word for it, called 5 Ways into Character, 5 Ways into Character. So let me bring her on. We've got her here via Skype. Julia, welcome.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody.
How you doing? Your audio sounds a little bit far away to me, but that just could be my volume, I think. So welcome. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Great.
So did I do an okay job of setting up the 5 ways into character?
Yeah, I mean, mainly, yeah, that technique grew out of my own capacity to transform into distinctly different people. But where it segues into what we're talking about today is because I'm known in my work for this intimate, deep truth, but also being different people. So what I've developed is a way of accessing like really concrete tools for accessing one's own authenticity and specifying it so you know exactly what it is, and then it becomes easeful, and so you're at ease being your authentic self.
I
And
love easeful.
yeah.
So we've talked in this show, but I think you have a unique perspective about authenticity. So, and I would like to hear it in your words. Why would somebody want to really focus and drill down into, true authenticity? We made the subject of this segment, deepening your video presence, and I think that's the same subject, is it not?
It's absolutely, yeah, I really appreciate your language around that. So here's what I'm a stand for basically is that when anybody shows up authentically with an easeful and deep presence, so you feel connected to who you are, just in your existence. You're going to engage your listeners. You're fun to watch. And you actually, for me, it's the best part. I can't stand working hard, and I don't like watching people working hard, if you think about that, right? So you'll have a more fun, easier time getting your message across than if you're trying to, let's say, be perfect or amazing or sell something really well. And I just also want to offer this because everything exists in a larger context, on a larger level. When people show up in the media authentically and stand for things that matter deeply to them, it creates not only an interested audience, but this is the thing that's near and dear to my heart, a more profound experience of our shared humanity. And in our world today, that really matters. So.
It does, I love that you said that. Say that last phrase again, a more profound experience of
Of
our
shared
shared
humanity.
humanity. Because one of the things for me that I think is a real hot button, the reason I love that you said that, is because we don't want to just make more noise, right? We talk about an engaging social media presence. The worst thing to me is people that just like, well, we have to fill the social media channel, and so we're just going to crank stuff out. And they're not creating this deeper shared experience of our humanity. So we should get practical because I know you've got practical tools. What does it look like? How specific can you get? And I know you can get extremely specific to, you know, get more authentic. I just had a conversation, and I'll talk later about Michael Cass coming back to do the third pillar of a vibrant video presence. But he talked this morning, we had a conversation about the choice between the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we tell others, which are often not in alignment, and then the stories we live within. So that's Michael Cass on storytelling, more on that to come on Video Mojo. But, how does that relate to your authenticity and the stories that people want to tell?
Well, okay. So in all my work, and every one of my students at every level will attest to this, I distill things down to the simplest use. So for example, if you're going to make a meal, you need to know what the ingredients are, and you need to choose the ingredients, and you need to choose ones that work and that you know how to work with. My work focuses on choosing the ingredients and knowing they're ingredients you love, right? So they're going to work, not the larger context. Once, Michael Cass, what you're talking about is the meal. Like, oh, what meal am I making for you? What meal am I making for myself? What meal, right? To me, the story's the meal. What I focus on is, oh, how do I cook? How do I make the ingredient? How do I choose them? How do I use them? So just today, briefly to mention, because this is of the 5 ways into character, this particular piece is the essence piece, where
Mm-hmm.
you focus on what is your true essence of being, like who are you in the world. And so we're here super fast, right? I spend time with people on this. It's like it's a large safe container where they do a little exploration and they find these things. But even if you're just listening right now, if you could name 3 things, like 1 word or 2-word phrase, that somehow identify your essence in the world. So this takes a little doing. You might want to write about it or something. But for instance, for example, after a lot of my own searching, I can name mine. I'm all about true love, magic, and ease of being. Those 3 things. And what I mean by that is those 3 things are going to be there inside me. If if I just rolled out of bed and showed up here in my pajamas today and was like pushing stuff out of my eyes, true love, ease of being, and magic would be existing inside me because that's who I am.
So can
The
I
fun,
play? I
yeah,
mean,
go, go, go.
so it's like, because I every play along at home, put it in the comments. We'll go to question in just a minute. But I've been playing with this term media wizard. That there's a guy in the background, Vince Castellano, who's the technical director on this show, who's making sure we're on Facebook and YouTube. Anyway, Vince and I go way back. We used the term media wizards all the way back in the 70s, and I think I'm still a media wizard, given this equipment and this thing that I'm doing here. I also am a playful dancing bear. I like joy and play, and you and I think, are both aligned around ease. And I use the word flow. There's a flow that I experience sometimes. If I'm connected to that, I'm connected to my essence. So you're saying those qualities for you or for me or for everybody watching are what, if we connect to those, then we'll be authentic, and that will both connect us to the shared human presence. Is that the term you use? And connect with human beings so that we can do authentic business and contribute real value.
Yes, and this is a really important piece. So connect, you use that term. If we connect with that, that's the key. How do we connect with that? Because it isn't even at this moment, if you've thought of something, oh, that's my thing, oh, dancing bear or magic or wizard or flow, just naming it brings it to life, but you can go deeper. And even if you go deeper once, it starts existing viscerally in your body. So how you connect is vital. I think I said to you the other day, if you think about meditating, you might get a little calm. But if you meditate, you'll be calm. So how you connect to those 3 things or one thing that you're like, oh, this is mine, is part of what I do. We don't have time to do that here today, but here's a little tidbit you can do. You can just put the word at the top of a page, set a timer for even 3 minutes, and just write images, moments, thoughts that come to you that somehow ignite that word for you. That's a beginning way to work with it.
I love that. And I would love to hear in comments and questions whatever anybody else is connecting with. But I love that analogy of thinking about meditation or talking about meditation is completely different from doing it. And I also think it's a good bridge. Why don't I give you the opportunity here to talk about the workshops that you do and how people can be engaged with you. We'll put your contact information in the show notes or the post descriptions. But I know you've got something coming up for writers, I believe.
Mhm.
And yeah, tell us if somebody wants to go deeper with this, how would they use your skills to do that?
Okay, so, well, the class that I have 2 classes coming up this month. One is tomorrow. They're specifically geared toward writers because this technique was born out of creating characters. So I'm teaching it tomorrow to people who want to put it into their writing. Now, some of that writing could be memoir, could be about themselves. As I talk about character, today we're talking about you as the character. So this is arriving into your own integrity of being. So tomorrow at Book Passage on Zoom, I'll be teaching.
Book Passage being a local independent bookstore in our Marin County, Northern California Bay Area.
Yes, which
Not
we love.
everybody knows, right? We got people in Istanbul watching this, so.
Absolutely true. And it's a bookstore I really care about supporting. So half of the proceeds go to them, which is fantastic. So yeah, we'll be focusing on 2 of the 5 ways tomorrow. And then on Saturday, the 17th of October, the last 2, ways 4 and 5. And I want to say something about that because way 4 of these ways is about accessing your authentic self in this moment. So I named the essence, that's the big picture, but I do a meditation with people that is so beautiful and effective. I do it every day. I do it whenever I have to show up for something. And it's about who you're authentically today. What is that little nugget inside me? How big or small is it? What does it need or want? Anyway, it's this beautiful way to just go, oh, I'm accessing that. I'm present. I'm here with you as me. So that people
Right.
can, I get that. Like, that's kind of what you want your audience to think. Oh, I get that. I get him. It's that feeling. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Oh, and you can also, I probably should also say, which you'll probably also say, yes, I work privately with people. I've worked with political candidates, authors who need to show up at their events. We work privately and create their own authenticity package, so to speak, that they can take with them.
Yeah, and I would like to endorse your work completely because you and I have done all kinds of different experiments and co-consulting, and you've coached me, and the Dancing Bear Media Wizard funster that I am is, I think, more alive in the video work that I've been doing because of you. Yeah, so I really appreciate that, and we have a comment here. Hello, Julia and John, from the listening lady. I love the ignite idea. The spark, let me put her on the screen, by the way, put her comment on the screen. Um, the spark to touch the essence of who we are, which in turn touches the essence of people listening. Thank you. And thank you for that comment, listening lady. Do you want to say any comment or anything in response to that?
Well, thank you, listening lady. I think I might know where that person is reaching us from. Yeah, the idea of igniting it and that ignites a spark in someone else. I think you're naming exactly the larger context, the results of showing up authentically. On an even larger level that I haven't named, which I feel the listening lady is helping us to name, is that when that happens, when people start getting each other, you really are putting into the field of the universe that connectivity, a deeper experience of our shared humanity, and there's less othering, to use a very prevalent word, right? It's you just naturally,
Prevalent and important word.
yeah, you don't feel that person is other. You feel that you understand them, whether or not you want to sign up for their thing or you don't. You've had a little experience of authenticity. You go, oh yeah, I get that. It just ignites compassion. Yeah, ignite
Yeah.
seems to be the word of the day. Thank
Well,
you, listeners.
yeah, thank you for the comment, and I love this ability to get comments from both YouTube and Facebook and put them on the screen. So we've already started what we call the community campfire section, because the listening lady was here, and we're open to other questions and comments. So that let's do this thing. We love your participation, and even if you're watching the recording, your comments, reviews, whatever, are really welcome. And we look at all of them, and I try and respond to everything. If I don't, it's because I missed it somehow with all the channels we've got going on. So with the short time we have remaining, and I'll keep my eye out for other questions and comments, this, you've opened up something that I mean, I talk about authenticity all the time, but this element that we're making connections at a more global level, right? It's kind of like there's the stories I tell other people, and if we can connect around that and have that be true to the stories I'm telling myself, there's a real alignment. But you're saying also with this, the stories that we live within, which is commonly referred to as the shit show these days, or the climate crisis or whatever, that makes a difference. So I think that, that comes back to this original question about why is authenticity so important? Yes, there's a practical dimension of you're going to be more engaging and have a more vibrant video presence, but you're really opening the door to something bigger. Do you want to say more about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're actually amplifying it in a beautiful way. If you just think about when you hear somebody say, "Oh, this negative thing," "Oh, uh-oh, what if that happens? What if that happens?" You can feel something happen in your body, right? But if someone starts talking about what they're hoping for, what they're looking toward, some part of you also goes, "Oh yeah," because hope exists in every one of us, and so it's opened up when that happens. So when someone's being authentic and connecting to you, as you put it, with the stories that are being told, you are then, that is amplified in you. So you're like, oh, right, I connect. I feel that. You're not doing it consciously. I am very, very into not being in our heads about it. That's a common thing actors say, like, uh-oh. When you say, I was in my head, you basically mean I was thinking, I was working, I was, instead of being.
Right.
When you invite authenticity into the worldwide field, trust is created. There's a sense that trustworthiness is in the house.
Right. Well, I think I have a perfect closing question for you because we do have to wrap it
Yeah.
up here. So Vince Castellano is asking, please talk about why books are still relevant. And given that you not only work with performers and executives and what have you, I know you're working particularly with writers. So why are books still relevant, Julia?
Well, that's, I have something to say about that. It's my opinion. I have no deep expertise in the publishing world, but I will say this. Books are a moment of intimacy. There's intimacy in the connection between a reader and a writer. When you're looking at words, there's this distance between you that's small, and you're creating this personal bond that's totally safe for your imagination to explode, for inquiry to happen. It's a really intimate connection, and that word is a huge piece of the work I do too, because when that intimacy is ignited, deep authenticity is possible. So books, to my mind, do that just by existing. That's my
Beautiful.
answer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Julia McNeal. And as I said, we'll put it's juliamcnealarts.com is Julia's website, and we will put that link and other ways to contact her if you want to follow up on your work. Thank you again for making the time. I really
Thank
appreciate you being here.
It was a joy to be here. Goodbye, everybody. Have an authentic day, whatever that is to you.
Okay, so we're moving on to Luscious Links, which is the part of the program where I love sharing useful resources. And today we're actually looking at um, two different sites which offer gorgeous photography that's being offered by the photographers, without charge. So they do. Both of the websites have the kind of policy where they encourage you to say thank you by giving a credit, but you can use the image with their permission without giving the credit. So I don't know. I'm going to throw in a search for fun. Didn't even but so these are not your boring kind of stock images that you see everywhere. These are actually photographs from individuals, and if I click on it, then I have the ability to download it and move it right along like that. I mean, I take it into social media, put it on a website, whatever. So this one is called unsplash.com, and we'll put it in the comments. And a new one that I heard about recently is Pexels, Pexels.com. I'll do the same search just for fun. Ha ha ha. And I do think we may be seeing some of the same images, but likewise, slightly different technology, but I could download it right from here, or I could click on it. They have a little more social information about this particular photographer. But anyway, it's amazing stuff. They are advertising iStock here, but this stuff is all free. These are just individual pictures. So I find that really useful, and a way to, you know, get good photography that isn't the boring, stuff that you often buy from commercial stock photography places. And it's really nice to give the credit, but you don't have to. So it's also good on the pocketbook. So I want to let you know that Video Mojo is moving right along, and we've got some really great guests coming. Christy Strau is an author and coach. She's got 2 books. One is called Passion Plan Profit, and the new one is called Artists Don't Starve. And we're going to be applying the lessons from that to creative people who want to get their work out. On the 16th, Michael Cass is going to be back. He and I have done 2 pillars to a vibrant video presence. One is about your humanity, which dovetails nicely with what Julie and I were talking about. And the second one was about the technology of a vibrant video presence. Those are available on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. And we're going to be doing the third one about story. And then I'm very excited on the 23rd of October, Andrea J. Lee, who is my coach and who I've worked with on and off over a number of years, just an extraordinary human being, author of multiple books, full of wisdom and presence and, dare I use the word, authenticity. So I'm really excited about the upcoming shows. Every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live and YouTube, we're here. If you want to check out past episodes, combridges.com/blog. We've turned each episode of Video Mojo into a blog post, so that's a great place to browse it. And, I think that's it for this week. I'm really, really pleased that you were here and watching, whether you watched on whatever channel in whatever way. And we put the times at the beginning because we want to encourage you to jump around. Thank you again to Julia McNeal for being here. But thank you for watching, because it's you that makes this all worthwhile. It's this exchange of our humanity and authenticity that makes media meaningful. And we have these tools now to do it in a way like never before. So go out there and get them and do your thing. Only you can do it. There's a book title called Be Yourself Because Everybody Else is Taken. And I look forward to hearing about what you create. So see you next week. Thanks.